the only link we have. But oh well, we should be live now. So how you doing tonight, Greg?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's always fun with you on. Hey everyone. If anybody's watching this, thanks for joining us. Have our monthly live stream. Nothing too exciting here. We got a few other guests that might be popping in whenever they do, but no big deal. Tonight, this topic was brought up. Geez, it's been a while since we did this. We skipped last month, but I think it was in January when we were talking about having a band plan for your family or your neighborhood or your groups or what have you. And we're talking, and the idea came from you, Greg, how your wife doesn't have a license, but she has a handheld with her just in case. And there's an emergency or whatever, and she really doesn't have much interest in getting her ticket. And I think there's a common theme with that, where there's a lot of people who don't want to get into amateur radio, and it's mostly because of the test, right?
Yep.
It's not that it's crazy tough to get one. For us tech type people, it's still a big deal, but for a normal person, a lot of that material that you have to study for is very dry, very boring, and very useless. Uh, I gotta be real with that. I've never been out doing a parks on the air activation or talking to people in the local repeaters, and I had to know Ohm's law to do it, right? So
Oh yeah.
I think there's just a lot of hesitation, and that's one of the reasons why I think where'd it go here? I got a quick video here to show on that.
Yeah, and then it's also like
Preparedness
when I
World.
oh go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying when I was studying for it, this was before I knew of ham radio YouTube, so I wasn't watching any of the guys. So when I was studying for my tech and doing a class with the local ham club, I had no idea what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, just looking through the ARRL handbook and trying to study it, none of it makes sense. I wasn't seeing anybody actually using it. So, like, when you're just looking at, diagrams and reading words in a workbook, it's confusing and
Yeah.
it's kind of put you off a little bit before you actually, now with YouTube, you can see people using it and seeing that it's not really as big a deal as they make you think it is.
Oh, right. Yeah. When you bring that up, if it wasn't for YouTube, I probably never would have got amateur radio license because uh, I didn't know where to start, and I think that's like a lot of us, uh, the latest generation of hams, that got in about the time that you and I did. We discovered Josh's channel, Ham Radio Crash Course, where he had the technician. He did a whole series of live streams going through all the questions on the tech test and the general test, and that was a big aid for me. So
Yeah,
without that,
I watched I think it was W4EEY, and I would get off work, and I had like an hour and a half before the class,
mm-hmm.
and so I would just go and get something to eat and watch the technician course, for that part that we were getting ready to study. So I'd go in there with a little bit of knowledge. So it definitely definitely helps.
Sure. Well, in the past with this format that we're trying out for this live stream, I did like a death by PowerPoint presentation to kick things off. Then we talked about when I went through that PowerPoint. Half the time I go off the rails on that, so I thought I'd try a little different technique this month, and I kind of pre-recorded some of the talking points that I wanted to make for this live stream. So I'll just play that video now.
Perfect. I could use the bathroom.
Where we got it all done, and then we can talk then. So here, let's see if I can get this fired up. This is the first time trying to do this in StreamYard, so we're still figuring out.
preparedness and general world in general, it's typically a good idea to not rely on a single tool, right? Both in the concept of having a backup and to your primary tool in case the primary tool is damaged, lost, forgotten, what have you, and also using the right tool for the right job, also known as not using your flathead screwdriver as a cold chisel. Now, on the communications front, I admit fully that my opinions are biased. I'm a big advocate of amateur radio, and that mindset does not necessarily come from I've been enjoying playing around with amateur radio for the last 5 or 6 years. It's also because if you look at it, amateur radio is not a tool. It is a fully stocked toolbox, right? You can do everything from simple person-to-person simplex contacts, communications with a walkie-talkie, to sending digital messages halfway around the world with no infrastructure or infrastructure that you're in complete control of, such as a repeater, and on through using the internet. The problem with this really great toolbox of communication tools is it has a big old lock on it, right? There is a series of different licenses that you have where you'll get different privileges, and there's a series of tests to take to get those licenses. And on top of that lock, there are people standing with their arms crossed in front of it, blocking any attempts to change what the requirements currently are. I don't think too many logical people can argue that the current license requirements are severely outdated and need to be overhauled drastically. But those people with their arms crossed are arguing against it, and from what I've seen, every one of their arguments comes down to, I had to do it, you do too. Now, there are other tools that are outside of that lock toolbox. One that is really growing on me now that I explore more into it and how it's advanced in the past few years is amateur radio's little cousin, GMRS radio. Basically, everything you do with GMRS, you can do with a technician license, but it's growing in capabilities. Years ago, it was just voice contact, limited to a very limited range, but now radios like this one from B-Tech have GPS built into it and the ability to send text messages. So with that text message availability, you have asynchronous communication, and with the GPS, you're able to share locations as well. GMRS is becoming a real option. The biggest propellant for that option is the licensing for that and the community around it. You still have to get a license, or should have a license, but there's no outdated test required to take it. You don't need to know Ohm's law to push the talk button and talk on this radio, which makes it much more user-friendly for a lot more people. And also, there's not as many people with their arms crossed in front of the lock on GMRS radio. The GMRS radio community that I've been exposed to so far have been very open. They really don't care if you have a license or not. Even some of the repeater owners just don't care. And the nice thing about the license, kind of go back a little bit here, is it's not just a license for you. You pay the same $35 as you pay for an amateur license. You don't get a test. And that license is not only good for you, but it's good for your whole family. And that solves a big problem right there. I know quite a few people who are very like-minded to me, who have a general or an extra license. They're all into preparedness. They're all into working with their communities. They're all into having each other's back, and nobody else in their family has a amateur radio license, and they have no interest in getting it. They're all willing to push the talk button, but they're not willing to go through the hurdles involved. And those hurdles are gone away with GMRS radio. So, am I saying that all of us hams gotta ditch ham radio and go on to GMRS? Nope, not at all. We just gotta throw another tool into our toolbox. A tool that will give us better communications with our family and friends and all the others in our groups who keep saying one day they're going to get a ham radio license. A radio like this will get them where they need to be.
So that got my point across a little better. I think I will stick with that format. So what do you think, Greg?
Nice. Yeah, I agree. You know, when we talked about, you know, emergency communications with the family, I think this is a good starting point for it, to get, you know, my wife more comfortable with it. I was just at my local club meeting yesterday, and they were talking, you know, it's up for consideration now to actually do a repeater for GMRS and mesh tastic as well. So you'd like
Oh,
that?
cool. Oh, I really like that. No, that's awesome that your amateur radio club's looking into getting GMRS too, because I mean it's for me it's just another gateway, another entry point into the hobby. You know, there is a big barrier. I mean, as we talked earlier about the outdated tests that we gotta take to get into amateur radio, and I'm not against. Let's tear that apart right away. First off, I'm not against having a test for amateur radio, but I think that the test is extremely outdated. You know, it was policies that were put into place in the 30s and stuff. You know, like we said earlier in the video, I've never had to remember Ohm's law to work a radio. You know,
Well, yeah, I don't think, you know, this was, you know, these questions came up before, you know, Comet was making antennas and you had to go out and make your own.
exactly.
You know, so you really had to know that stuff. And it's good to know if you want to make one, if you have to make one in a pinch or something, it's good to know all this stuff. But you know,
absolutely. And there was no ICOM and Yaesu and Baofeng. You know, you're pretty much building rudimentary radios from kits and stuff like that. But you know, we're talking before we started the stream here that you just recently got your GMRS license, and it was just shouldn't say just as simple as going to the website and clicking a few buttons. It's a federal government website, so it's a pain in the ass. But
yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk was taking some money or something away from it. But yeah, it took me a couple tries, but I got figured out.
Oh, maybe they'll hire back the person that they fired that makes their websites easier. Who knows?
No, I've always hated that website, but
yeah,
I just did it today. I was just thinking about why not just do it. Gives me an excuse to buy another radio.
Yep. But the cool point, you know, and like we said before, how your wife has the ham radio in her glove box and she doesn't use it and she doesn't want a license. Well, that license that you bought is her license now too. She's a licensed GMRS user, and so are your kids, and so you know your whole family's set up now. I mean,
yeah, it'll be good.
You can literally give them all a radio and say, "Here, you know, you just write with a silver sharpie the call sign or use a label maker or whatever. Go here. There's your call sign. If anyone ever asks, otherwise don't worry about it."
Yeah, and you know, me and my daughter, we use the FRS radios, these Redivus handhelds that are great, talking back and forth on the property and stuff. And it's fun doing that. You know, a lot easier, and you know, just ask a simple question instead of making a phone call.
Yeah.
But you know, so I'm sure she'll enjoy that as well.
Yep. Yeah, especially if your club gets a repeater up, that's going to be a game changer where you can talk, instead of talking across the property, you can be talking across the county, you know?
Yeah. And then, oh yeah, they'll definitely be cool. She'd love that. You know, and then, you know, just simple, cool things. Hey, I could take this antenna off, you know, what you can't do on FRS radios, and I could put one of those, green signal sticks that you have on there.
Yep. Oh yeah, should.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, and like the ham radio rookie who makes the Faraday antennas, he has those made for GMRS as well. So, and there's I believe all the manufacturers like Comet and Diamond and everyone else has antennas, so you can always upgrade stuff. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But to go back to the amateur radio license and how it's outdated, some people will still say that you should have all that information, and I lost my train of thought. It was before, but it's your license is not a diploma; it's your entry point, right? It's your ticket to learn, and having a quick a streamlined way to do it where it's not necessarily on the test. I'm thinking, if I could redo the tech test, it would be just basically like any online tests or training you have to do for work, where you watch a video and do like a multiple choice thing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The FCC could do it all on the website. You watch a 15-minute video where they go through the basics and stuff, and you do a multiple choice. Especially for the tech. For the tech, that's
I'd say pretty much only for the tech.
Mm-hmm. And then if you want to get a general, and obviously for extra stuff, then you have to do some more studying and stuff like that. But I think if I go on levels for licensed radios, it'd be GMRS, where you just pay the money and fill out a form, bam, you're done. Tech, take like an online, kind of like a like the hour-long FEMA classes you gotta take for Aries or something like that. Just like a quick online 20 minutes, half hour top presentation that you gotta watch a video or read some PDFs, then do a quick multiple choice test at the end. Get 3 tries. If you don't get it on the 3rd try, you gotta start over type thing, and bam, you're done, and then go back to the traditional stuff for general. If that makes sense to you.
Oh yeah. I don't know, it's a great point too for people who are just wanting emergency communications.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of you get into ham radio, whatever, you could do, you get your general, start getting HF rig, you start talking distances. But if it's just local, you could have a SDR and listen to the ham bands. You can listen to all the bands, but
Mm-hmm.
you could have that to receive, and then you could just have your local communications that's easy, plug and play, right? Push the PTT, you're ready to go.
Right.
Select a channel. Nothing,
right. When
nothing
you're
hard
talking
about it.
on
And that's all like for, I don't know how much was that BTEC you have. Is that around $100?
Yeah, geez. I didn't know there'd be a quiz. Yeah,
No.
it wasn't too terrible.
Yeah, but you could, even the Baofeng ones, $40,
yeah,
for a decent one.
yeah. This
Excuse
one,
me. And then SDR, $40, 100. Excuse me, under $200. You got some good communication there, some good information coming in.
Yeah, it's here. Let me. Jeez. Why are you not letting me do that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is the one that I bought. It's $150. This is a little more expensive than what I wanted, but this particular model, you get a app for your phone, both Android and Apple. syncs with it Bluetooth, so you can do all your programming right from your phone, which is fantastic. No funky software to download or anything like that. Works great. What I really like about this radio is it has a GPS on it, and you're able to do text messages between the same brand radio. So it has a lot of fun stuff that you can do with a tech license on 2 meters. It's basically your APRS, where you can share your position and you can send text messages back and forth. Works really well. Has the NOAA on it. It has an actual pretty decent digital compass, but if you got paired with your smartphone, it stands alone, I guess, too.
Yeah, and these things, I don't know a whole lot about them. Hang on 1 second, but I was just thinking about it.
Yep.
Let me see. Had to get something off the shelf here, but I have one of these old Garmin Rhinos, right?
Oh yeah, I used to have one of those too.
I picked this up a couple years ago. Super cheap, came with a spare battery. It was cheap. Man, I don't even use it, and the battery's still good on this thing. But these, that BTEC, that's kind of taken a lot of this capability. And these things, how much were these things at the time? $300, something.
Oh,
insane,
they're crazy
right?
expensive. Yeah, but it's basically the same technology.
Yeah.
And you can do the old school. You don't need to have a phone paired with this. So if you don't have a phone with you, it's the end of the world. You lost it. You can still send text messages through the face of this thing and see each other on a map, just like the old Rhino. So it works out pretty well. I really like it. It's IP67 rated, so you can drop it in the river and it'll be just fine. For $150, it's not bad.
Who needs a Garmin now, right?
Yeah,
like you got all that in there for half the price, or if not less.
Yep. And then the other one I have that I really like is this Alluance handheld. Get the light there. You can't send text messages with this one, but it's programmable from the face for you can put all your tones and your repeater settings and everything. So it works great.
So is Alluance one of those kind of like rebranded stuff as well? That could be like a Redivis or a.
It is a Redivis. It's like they're higher. It's like GMC or it's like Chevy and Cadillac. This is their Cadillac version, or your Toyota and Lexus type thing. It's a Redivis radio. Works great. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it needs a signal stick on it. Was that a signal stick?
No, I don't have one on there yet, but yeah, this one's a little different.
What's the connection it uses on it? Is it just your SMA?
Yep.
And on your BTEC, did you just have an adapter on it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's got the SMA port on it, and I just got the adapter from Signal Stick to BNC. Then that way I can hook it up to another antenna.
You like the green ones, don't you? I think you had that on your that car you I think smashed with a deer. What was that car you had? That
little Corolla?
Didn't you have a green signal stick on top of there?
No, I do have a green one somewhere. That was like I don't know.
When we were in Iowa together, you drove your car before you bought the truck, and you just had a mount and you just put your signal stick off your HT on top. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Yep.
That's what I was thinking of. And
okay.
That was the time you broke that that bottle of mango habanero whiskey. You remember?
Yep. Yeah. The break one bottle of whiskey and never forget it.
Oh
Hey,
man,
Derek.
who's this young guy?
Whoa, caught me off guard.
Man.
How
Hi,
you doing
guys.
tonight, bud?
I am traveled out today.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
go over
Long
to play.
time no see, buddy.
yeah. Today was a 200-mile run one way.
Oh, that's fun.
So, yeah, 200 miles to get stuck on hold for 7 hours.
Good thing you get paid by the hour.
Yeah, and it ended up in we got to bag it. We'll come back.
All right. Well,
So-
bring you up to speed. We played that little video that I showed you the few nights or weeks ago or whatever it was when we did our little prep thing, and we're just basically talking GMRS radio and how it kind of fits in. The whole inspiration for this was, I think, the last time we met up here on the live stream, how Greg was saying that his wife has a ham radio handheld in her truck, sits in the glove box, never uses it, doesn't want a license, and it kind of went through how, as far as local comms go, GMRS can do most of the things that ham radio can do, as far as the local comms, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Peer to peer, no problem. Repeaters, same capability, same limitations. Anybody who has a GMR license can have a repeater, just like anybody that has a tech license can have a repeater for amateur radio.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just talking now how the newer ones, they'll have GPS on them and able to do text messaging, so you can send asynchronous communications to each other via text. You can send your coordinates to each other so you can know where you are. So it's basically, if you have a handheld GMRS radio like this, it's just like a mid to top of the line handheld amateur radio that has APRS or DMRS or whatever on it. It's the same basic functions. Far as other things on the tech level, you can't do like WinLink or something like that, but peer-to-peer conversations or people within their GMRS radio, you can do pretty much everything you can with the tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
something the FCC came out with, saying,
That's
"Hey,
where I was headed.
don't leak your
Yeah.
leak your repeaters."
Yeah,
But that might change too.
Yeah.
Hopefully it changes, because
I mean, techs also
super
get you get like just a taste of HF stuff with 10 meters, and then single sideband 6 meters and 2 meters, you can get a little more range peer to peer. But other than those nuances, pretty much everything you can do with a tech license, you can do with GMRS.
Yeah.
You're not there, but you're 75-80% there.
Yeah.
And there's no test to take. One license covers your whole family. If you get a GMR license, you can go on right now, Derek, get a GMRS license, and if you're better at navigating their website than Greg, you can have it done in 15 minutes. And not only you have it, but your kids have it, your wife has it.
So what you're saying is, if I marry Derek's sister, then I could use his GMRS license.
You just want me as a brother-in-law. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, that's right, buddy.
Yep.
No, but go ahead. Derek's a good one. I think Derek knows a little bit about this. He's a radio guy for his job. So
yeah.
No, I mean, and I never looked into the regulation that the FCC put out, but I know they killed the linking of the repeaters.
Mm-hmm.
But did they do that through basically saying that the repeaters had to be severed from the internet?
Yeah, I don't know. I think now Rubicon had videos on that. Josh Hammerhill Crash Course had videos on that, and then, to be honest, I started watching them, and then I kind of squirrel and got carried
Yeah.
away and
Well,
didn't pay much attention to
well,
it.
and not only that, let's go adjacent a little bit. So not only with GMRS is that your GMRS frequencies share with your FRS.
Right.
So in all reality, you know, if any member of your family or, you know, party of whoever you're around has FRS radios, the GMRS has capability of talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than, you know, of course, the crappy part of you have to stay within where I think it's 1 watt now will take you.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, the FRS was limited to like it used to be like a quarter of a watt, but I think it's a 1 watt now or something like that. And then
I think so.
but and the other point that I brought up before is the GMRS culture community is so different than the hams. You know, I mean, let's be honest, us hams can be kind of assholes towards everybody else. We all, you know, the biggest buzzword on ham radio YouTube is gatekeepers and stuff, but we all got a little bit of gatekeeper at us. And I've noticed with my limited experience, of course it varies from region to region, but the people who use GMRS around me don't care at all. Just the rule is just don't be a dick. You know, don't try to jam out somebody, don't swear, don't be abusive, just be a general good person. Nobody cares at all. I've never heard anybody say, "What's your call?" I didn't hear a call sign or anything like that. You know, they just don't care. And I think it was you, Dirk, that brought it up in a chat or something before. Where I think a lot of it is because we're just so used to it with the FRS side, because FRS shares what half the frequencies or half the channels as GMRS. So it's constantly little kids playing walkie-talkie going, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" So nobody really cares about that kind of stuff.
The first mobile radio that I put in my vehicle, I'd be driving around the community, and I had a rough sense of where these two little kids lived.
Mm-hmm.
But I was probably picking them up about 3 miles from their house, and you could tell that they were using FRS radios because you'd sit there and you'd hear the Roger, that special Roger beep they have.
Yep.
But it was neat to kind of hear them sitting there, and you know they were playing, like, I hate to say that, oh well, but they were playing like war over the radio, sitting there talking, and it was even back in the days of COVID that's how these two little kids were able to hang out and talk to each other. And so it was neat seeing that, you know, during kind of a bullshit time of our country, but
right. Well, we're much better now.
Yes. But no, it was cool, and I think that's great because it's a gateway that'll pique the interest. You know, maybe one day the two little kids will be like, "Man, I remember we got walkie-talkies when I was a kid," and then it ends up going, "Well, I always heard about this ham radio thing," and there you go. You never know. You may.
Yeah. Well, Greg was talking before he got on that he was just at his ham radio club meeting earlier this week, and they're talking about putting up a GMRS repeater. Talk about gateway to get more people into it, where you get the you know, the whole damn family and the neighborhoods are on FRS, get them on the GMRS. Hey, now we, you know, like I was talking to Greg, now instead of talking across the neighborhood, you're talking across the county because we got a repeater.
Yeah, I even think the GMRS repeater will probably get more activity than our 2 meter.
Yeah.
You know, like seriously.
And now you got the people.
We're not getting a whole lot other than, you know, your couple meetups every day and, you know, your nets. So,
yep. But then you get those people into GMRS and they get it. Then they start showing up to your regular club meetings, and then you start introducing them to something like, "Hey, here, check out what you can do on HF, where I can talk to somebody halfway around the world don't want to talk to somebody, hey, there's FT8. Check this out. You just load this software on your computer and you can make contacts. It's more like a video game. And you're going to get people that go, oh, well, what do I got to do this? And then you might get them into amateur radio as well.
Yeah. And one thing, I don't know, my club actually might have to update. We might have to update our bylaws on GMRS, you know, not being ham and doing a repeater and stuff like that. It just depends what's in there.
Yeah.
You know, our club actually just hit our 70th anniversary. So, you know, it's been around for a while. It's probably some outdated stuff in the bylaws, but, you know, at least we got some people interested in it. And the people that are interested, like with the GMRS and the Mesh-tastic, you know, this all just came up yesterday. It was our first meeting of the year because January got canceled because we had a snowstorm. And then last month was the yearly, you know, go out to the restaurant and do awards and stuff.
Right.
It was our first meeting back, and a lot of people were there, mostly older, of course, but they were the ones interested in, hey, you know, Mesh-tastic, you know, GMRS, you know.
Yep.
So it's definitely, you know, it's definitely catching on.
Right. And then to stick with the prepper theme of this channel, the most times you're going to be wanting radio comms is talking locally with your immediate neighborhood, your family, and stuff like that. So a GMRS radio, and if somebody has a repeater and you can talk, you know, 10, 15, 20, 25 mile radius, what more do you need, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's, and you know, and having the option to change out the antenna for, you know, on those, you know, you can change out the antenna. You could throw a portable antenna up in the air.
Yep.
You know, throw it up as high as you want. Just depends.
Yeah, like,
you know,
like
and you got your, you know, for an HT, you know, 5 watts or whatever. You know, I'm sure Baofeng probably markets a 10 watt, but
yeah.
you know, but say 5 watts. You know, FRS is great, but what's that, half watt? And I'm doing pretty good around here with half a watt, so 5 watts is amazing.
Yeah, it's the way to go. Just simply because, like I said, if you want to go legit and get your license, $35, your whole family has it. Or like I keep saying, in most areas, people not having a license aren't shamed as they are in amateur radio. And it's just so simple, because if you get a license, you're able to use it or just use the FRS. You get that you're more prone to actually use it, not just let it sit in a go bag and have its batteries go dead. So an emergency is, you don't know how to use it very well. You don't know the ranges. You don't know what the techniques to use, and the batteries are probably dead. You get something that becomes part of your everyday lifestyle. You know, like Greg, you're saying with your kids, where you talk on them across the property. In an event of emergency, there's no transition. It's just natural. It's just like riding a bike. Off you go.
Yeah, and so, you know, I'm new to it. You know, just been reading up since you've said you're going to do this show. You know, never just, you know, ham radio. I don't need GMRS, but the more I've heard about it, the more I'm interested. So I know on the band plan for GMRS, it's different. You know, like you know, there's parts where you can use 5 watts, half watt, and then you can go up to 50 watts, right? So on your HTs that you have, are they preset for the wattage on it, where you don't have to worry about setting that?
Yep. Yeah, they come preset. There's, oh, I can't remember. I got the thing laying around somewhere. We should have done a little more prep. But there are a dozen. I think. Oh, what was it? Like 5 channels, Derek. You probably know, that are set to like a half a watt limit.
I think
It looks like 7, if I'm counting right.
All right.
I was going to say 5's pretty close.
Looks like 7, and it looks like there
Then it's your-
is. 7
And
that
then-
are 5 watts, and then the rest are
Mm-hmm.
50.
Yep.
Unless you live, and then I think it goes to like, hey, they do the lines like if you're too close to Canada, you can't go, you can't do 50 watts kind of stuff. I don't have to worry about that here,
No.
but
Well, once we make them our 51st state, we have to worry about that.
the rate they're going, they'll be number 52.
That whole thing, I love the most is that classic meme of the guy standing like this with the angry look, the bald guy who's got the come on, what are you talking about look on his face. He's like standing up in a crowd. And it's Puerto Rico after hearing how Canada's going to be the 54th state.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, that would crack me up. No.
That's too funny.
No.
But yeah, I was just curious about if the radio actually, took care of that, the wattage and stuff like that. So good to know.
Yeah, they come default, or at least the two that I have.
Well, you get the B-Tech instead of the Baofeng because it's tuned, right?
Yeah.
Well, not only that, if they're to be the GMRS part accepted, they have to have the programming already in them to have the power level set.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
But let's face it, every one of the damn things coming out now can be opened wide ass open.
Probably, yeah. If not, people are gonna figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
One thing, Shane, I can't remember if your 706 if it's Mars modded or not, but I know mine is. But why can't we do 100 watts? Guess you could, right? If it's open, but not supposed to.
Just be an app, yeah.
Yeah. If it's it's open, so I'll have to check that and see if definitely abide by the wattage and stuff. But
well, and as far as the general rule of amateur radio and a good rule of prepping too in general is it's only use what you need, right?
Yeah.
For one thing, it's going to drain your battery faster. Another thing, if I'm across the street from Derek and I'm trying to talk to him, we're just going to blow each other out. So what's the point? And then if you're concerned about any security things and other people listening in, the less
you'll draw
power,
unwanted attention.
Yep. Yeah. Why draw attention to yourself? Yep. Even if you don't have, that's the what. That's a topic for another video is encryption, but why bring attention to yourself if you can have a lower footprint, even if you don't have, you look like you had a thought.
No, well, it's not only the lower footprint part, so that it mildly encompasses your conversation to more of your immediate vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it if you have a community disaster going on, and if you turn your power down, then that might open the let's stay respective to GMRS, that might open up that same channel across town so that another group of individuals can utilize it as well.
Great point. It cuts down the clutter. If you got multiple people, if you have a widespread area like the hurricanes in North Carolina and stuff, where we got our own group, we got a chainsaw crew, we're working on getting water to people who has a generator. We're in our neighborhood. We're not interfering with people 15 miles away.
Yeah.
Who are doing their own thing and not getting their signals crossed. It makes everybody's life a lot easier. It's not just security, it's just making life easier. That's a great point, Derek.
Well, and you think about it in the sense of say it's a more regional aspect of it. One of your more effective means is going to be kind of like a Venn diagram shape, if you will, that where you have certain little areas of overlap, and then you have a centralized zone that would be handling for all the different areas as much as possible.
Sure.
And then that way they can orchestrate. And I mean, I get it that there's some level that, you know, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. But I mean, my hell, you don't need a spare for your spare for your spare for your spare, because then you're just cluttered with shit.
Yep. Yep. And then, you know, the point I was making earlier, with the lower wattage, it does make your battery last a little longer, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's marginal, but hey, marginal sometimes pays off, you
Yeah.
know, depending on everything. So it
Well,
just makes sense.
and something as simple as keeping your radio turned to a minimal volume would optimize your battery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know, hell, I know you and I are kind of deef guys that,
Yep, just
but
a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, all those little hacks, all those little things, you know, that do add up, and extending your battery life in an emergency is the way to go, just for the convenience of it and everything.
yeah.
Cool. Great points. Try to think
So,
if there's
Also, you know, lower wattage, use what you need, especially on, you know, the frequencies that are shared with FRS, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you're around the, you know, where a lot of places that I hear conversation on FRS is campgrounds. Like it's a big place. I always mess with the bring one, test it out. You know, you can hear people on them and stuff like that. But you know, if you're driving down the road, you know, 5 miles away, you don't want to be blasting over people that are just using it for
Yep.
stuff like that. So especially if
For
you're
sure.
simple, you know, especially if you're just talking to somebody caravanning or something.
Mm-hmm.
my
100%.
my favorite is when I have to take trips for work. So I've got my ham radio in my work truck with me. I've mounted a mobile in it. But so I've also got the FRS GMRS in there, and on the mountaintops that I go, I could not tell you how many landscaping crews I hear on a good hot summer day, just running that ragged, and a lot of them aren't using FRS because they don't have the little Roger beep to them. But I mean,
is that a company radio, your GMRS FRS radio, or is it just one you put in?
no, it's actually my own. It's my Yaesu FTM 400.
Oh, okay. So did you have to open it up for that, or is it just cover that band?
No, so it'll do it on reception, but
No transmit.
I gambled and I stuck a soldering iron in a $500 radio.
Guess you got it working if you're still using it. So
Twice. Yeah, so I've got one in it, and then I got the one in my side by side, my UTV.
yeah, that's
that
the one I
use.
remember you having that radio in.
Oh yeah, I was BSing you guys when I installed it.
Yeah. I gotta take the soldering iron to my 706. Open that thing up. That might be a live stream.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah. Let's watch Shane fuck up his radio.
Brick the prick.
Yeah, I noticed also like my brother Dan, I was talking to him earlier, and he's got, I don't know what dual band radio in his car, but it's one of the, you know, QYT or something like that. You know what I mean? Chinese radio. Where he said it's literally just hold down 2 buttons, and it's a mobile, you know, hold down 2 buttons or whatever, and it just opens up GMRS as well. So
This Alluance handheld, it has a cheat code where you can get into the ham frequencies with it. It's just like the old Nintendo up down type things.
Yeah.
I got it written down somewhere, but you can open this up to talk on the ham frequencies. So that's kind of a, you know, and that's kind of a nice feature for somebody that just wants to carry one radio to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's
What do you
another
think-
thing I'd change with the rules. God damn it! We were talking earlier what I would change with the rules.
Mhm.
Basically, I'd update your amateur license stuff to make it more current information because you know a lot of the stuff is so outdated. You know, as far as usefulness goes. I would make the tech license to be basically just an online course where you just, you know, like the FEMA videos or hour-long training courses you got to take for Aries, something along
yeah.
those lines. You know, where you sit down for 20 minutes, half hour tops, watch a video, go through some PowerPoint, and then do a multiple choice test at the end, and bam, you're good. That's what it should be.
So I got a sidebar question. So on those FEMA courses that you had to take, what is it? Is it like the NIMS courses that you have to take?
I honestly don't know. I was asked to join Aries, and I looked at the thing and I said, "This is stupid. I'm not going to do it." So I never did.
Oh, I was gonna say, did it say NIMS 700 and 800?
Yeah, I think there's some
So
of
it's
them.
ICS command structure.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was definitely one of them. I scrolled through it and I'm like, this is absolutely stupid for what I'm being asked to do. I'm not going to do it. So there. But where I'm at is, I think I don't know why, if you have a technician license, why you shouldn't have privileges on GMRS as well. You know?
Realistically, of course, it comes back to a money
Yes.
thing.
Absolutely.
It's like charging people $30 to apply for a call sign that you're going to lose out on a 7-land call to somebody in Arkansas.
What was the deal? It's been about 3-4 years ago with the GMRS license. What changed on it to make so many people start getting it? I remember Norm got it. Was it
Price drop?
Yeah.
Was it?
That
What was
was
it before?
It used
70.
yeah. What, 3 years ago? It used to be that the ham license was free. Well, you had to pay the like $15 processing thing, whatever the VAs were doing. But the GMR license was like $70. And then they made it so that a ham radio license was $35, and then they dropped the.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, story has it hams are cheap. So all of a sudden, every ham, or not every ham, but a handful of hams got their GMRS license, and that happened to a YouTuber or two. And since there's no original ideas on HamTube, every YouTuber went and got their GMRS license so they can make the exact same video that everybody else made about getting your GMRS license.
Well, here's you another one. Raise your hand if you were a stupid fucker and did it about 4 months before the price dropped.
Oh, I just raised my hand at the stupid fucker part. I didn't know there's more. Oh, you got it right before the price drop?
Yeah, I didn't even know the price was dropping, and then I got the license, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Well, you should be good for 20 years, not 10 then, right?
Oh, God, I wish. Hell no, that thing they're going to keep milking me till I'm dry.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
All right, we gotta see something out of the chat tonight. I'm watching this. It's going. It's slow.
Yeah. There's nobody's watching us.
No, I did the typical. Oh crap! I should probably set up the live stream so I can get the thing publicized and out there for everybody, and I didn't do that until this morning. So.
Yeah, and you should have posted on posted something on a Clubhouse or something, chat. But who
Yeah.
cares, right?
I'm not good at doing that stuff. I'm not much of a promoter. I can't.
It's just fun hanging.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, just us on Discord. A little
Yeah.
less cussing on the stream, but
Yeah, a little less. And I didn't do it last month because everything was just too crazy around here. So, but we'll get back on it. And I'm absolutely fine with nobody watching us right now because we're just still trying to figure out what we're doing. So once we get it going again, we can always redo this topic again when there's people watching. But what we got? 4 people watching us. Thanks for hanging out with us.
yeah, thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
So let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, and Sam makes 4. So go us.
Yay team. I don't even have YouTube up, so I'm not one of them. Unless it counts it from here. I don't know how this shit works.
Well, I was gonna say I got YouTube up because
Yeah, see the chats.
Yeah, I was gonna see the chat. Well, I want to be able to actually interact.
Oh.
And apparently I can't remember my Google password.
Oh. Yeah, so. Oh, funny. Oh, I can't believe we've been on topic for the whole hour. I thought we'd go off on other stuff. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
the
other thing to bring up is one big advantage with migrating. You know, FRS is good, but from migrating from an FRS side to GMRS is your ability of now you're able to actually toy with some antennas.
Yep.
And play around.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking before, you know, you can get the roll-up J-pole antennas for like N9 tax and the Faraday was it? I can never remember his name when I'm thinking. Ham radio rookie. Can't remember his name. Sorry, Ham radio rookie. But he has his Faraday and the GMRS as well, so those are fun. And they're like the big antenna manufacturers like Comet and stuff. They all do that. They all have good antenna options. But we were talking before also.
Who did that? Who popped that up?
I did.
Oh, okay. Oh. I was like, Sam's been trying to figure that out. How come? I was just thinking if Derek has it, like something's going on.
No, I got Sam set as the other admin, and I don't know what. I guess Sam and I are gonna have to get on here and play with it again a little bit to figure it out. But the other big thing that GMRS has that FRS doesn't is repeaters. You know, he ties into the repeater. You know, I keep going back to Greg and his kids talking across his property on FRS radios. Now that they all have a GMRS and they get the GMRS repeater up at his club, their minds are going to be blown when they can talk to dad across the county.
Yeah, well, one thing with, you know, where, so you got to think, you know, something happens, you know, something bad, you need to communicate. Cell phones are down, right?
Mm-hmm.
If my club has the repeater, that's like the halfway mark between where I work and my wife works. So if we're able to use up to 50 watts on a mobile installed, no problem, right? So each one of us is about 15 to 20 miles away from, you know, where my club's at, which is pretty much the center up on a hill. That just opens it up for, you know, easy communications if the repeater's still going, correct?
Right.
You know, depending on what happens. But if not, 50 watts both ways, you know, being a distance of 35, 40 miles away from each other, there's still a good chance we're going to be able to find a spot to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something. And without the hassle of having to take the test and the gatekeeping that you might have with some hams, I'm sure people in your local club are pretty cool, Greg. But without that overburden, I think your wife's probably going to be more likely to use a radio on a regular basis, talking to you and the kids from her truck.
Yeah, well, if not, where my wife's a teacher, the kids are with her, at the same school building.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm at work, they're all three together. So that's one good thing that, I don't have to, it's not different places at the moment. Later on, years down the road, we'll be split up, whatever. Be a different plan, but as of right now, that's pretty solid. Even if I have a mobile mounted in my wife's truck where, she thinks it looks ugly, my daughter would be sitting in the side seat. She'll talk to me.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to work out. So, yep.
Sorry, I was kind of having a squirrel moment, but like I was thinking about how you said that. I don't know if we need to, go to the 80-meter court and plead our case or what. That if you could get your GMRS and your tech on the same license, or just roll GMRS into tech privileges and have it be like an online ethics course that was, that way you've been through the ethics of it, what your limitations are. See, I wish they would actually revisit and consider the idea of restructuring the whole licensing system. That, let your tech or let your techs have GMRS and all your VHF, UHF communications that can just stay pretty local for the most part. And I know this would piss some off, but strip the 10 meters and put it into like what it would be considered a general category, but open all of the bands up with power restriction, almost like how Europe and Canada does it.
Yeah.
Open it up with power restriction and take your final exam for full legal power.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
But I think every section should have a portion, and like when you test, because I still think you should test for the HF side of it, because then you're dealing with military and all different means of communications that we're secondary on the band allotment. But actually have ethics on each one. And then if somebody starts being an asshole, you'll get found and be revoked. Actually do some enforcement.
Now you're asking for a lot. Revamp the test and enforce rules.
This is going to take at least 15 years. Come on.
I'm going to be going in for prostate exams by the time that it's even considered.
Well, maybe we gotta get Elon Musk and Doge.
Official prostate exams, you mean?
That's nobody's supposed to know about those. Those are discount.
I was just practicing. Well, maybe we gotta get Elon Musk and Doge in the ham radio so they can go over to the FCC and get that thing streamlined.
Well, he didn't want to take the ham radio, so he's like, "Fuck you! I'll put satellites up and get my own internet."
Oh yeah, there's that.
Yeah, it's way easier.
I didn't have to take a test for that.
I ain't taking no tests. I'm gonna start building rockets. I'm gonna fund my own space program so I don't have to take a fucking ham radio test. Hey, whatever works.
There's and I know it's been a while since I talked to you guys. So I guess we can drift from topic now. I mean, hell, it's been an hour, right?
Yeah. That's what I was kind of hinting. I didn't think we'd stay on topic for more than 15 minutes.
So I was actually doing some research, and I mean, this has been out for several months, where T-Mobile's been kind of doing a partnership with Starlink over doing data and messaging over Starlink's network.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now at the turn of the year, they were supposed to incorporate voice along with that. And, I mean, it's not like I'm breaking any kind of news. I mean, shit, there's YouTubers that's done this already.
Right.
But at the
I
same
gotta go
point,
for a second. I'll be right back.
okay. But so at the same point, there's another company that's actually going to put high Earth orbit or high orbit geostationaries in, and their whole goal is to put an entire cellular constellation up. And so basically it'd mean that, a geostationary meshed cellular network in space. So I mean, the only dead zones you'd have are tunnels.
Yep.
Or your house. I think that concept's neat, because you go in your house, you're on Wi-Fi, you could do Wi-Fi calling, or you step outside, no more dead zones. Like that idea, I think, is awesome.
Well, I had a quick. So T-Mobile's teaming up with Starlink to have like satellite cellular or something.
Well, so basically, and this was my understanding of it, was so he's got his own frequency allocation to do the internet hauling, or the bandwidth, or he's got his FCC licenses to do his internet backbone. But what he needed was somebody with the allocations to do cellular. So that's where the T-Mobile partnership came in.
Okay.
But there's also another company, I want to say it's called AST Space Mobile. They're the ones launching the geostationary orbit. So it's just something kind of neat that piqued my. Everybody else may not give a shit, but I think it's neat, and it piqued my interest. That it seems to me like that's a direction that we're heading, is to get off of a land, or let me put it this way, a terrestrial based cellular network,
right,
and go to
full on satellite the way they've been trying to do for decades.
Yeah, and eventually it's going to be a hell of much more shit can we put up there before it starts colliding.
Oh, yeah. I think we're almost there.
That's one thing. Satellite phones, right?
Yep.
Awesome idea. They're expensive. You know what I mean? But you could buy them cheap. You could get them cheaper with a plan. But these plans aren't cheap. You know what I mean? It's.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the plans are, but it's something that you don't ever use, but it's just there for emergencies. So,
right,
to hold on to that and not use it. You know what I mean? I know there's people out there, military and stuff like that use it quite a bit, but for an average person like us,
right, and that's been such of a, back in like the 1990s, Motorola was trying to get a satellite network that was usable for the common person, but it's just that initial getting the satellites up there and everything going. But now with more, with SpaceX and other private launch rocket companies, basically, I think that expense of getting the infrastructure up there is coming down and down. It's pretty soon it will be a thing.
Well, it's not only that, because I know it's going to be an add-on feature type of thing. But I think eventually that it'll be it'll be an add-on feature for a while. Just like text messaging was,
Yeah.
or the old cellular days. Don't call me till after 8, asshole.
Unlimited
I'll be out of
weekends and
minutes.
stuff. Yeah, and just look at satellite as it was, because when I was a kid, you knew who had satellite TV was the rich people that had the big 9-foot
6-foot dishes.
dishes in their yards. And now, and then, Dish and DirecTV came out and changed the world. And now Starlink, where people literally take their satellite with them camping now.
Yeah, or even so, like Dish and HughesNet
Mm-hmm.
led the way on internet connectivity via satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used that for a while. No, that sucked.
Yeah.
But at least out here in nowhere, we had internet, which was, hey, this is my wife. She uses it for a job. You guys can't use it because it's going to cost a bunch of money. But I'm sure by this time, it's a lot cheaper because all the competitors out there. But
oh yeah, now I'm having flashbacks back in my first cell phone, where they gave me the phone for free. Granted, it was like a Motorola flip phone or a Nokia. You got the phone for free, and the basic plan wasn't too much. It's like $29.95. But after 10 text messages, it's 5 cents a text message, and then you had the roaming and
yeah,
and you had to watch.
Not only that,
minutes.
It was 60 characters.
Yep.
And it was the old school T9.
Yep. And you had like 30 minutes or 60 minutes, but you paid the extra $15 and you could have unlimited weekends. It's like, like you said, don't call me until 8 o'clock on a Friday.
Well, my first phone was an Nextel, and with my boss, working, he had a Nextel, so we had the free walkie-talkie. That was free. So he would just call me just to use it because I was the only other person he knew with a Nextel. So he'd be like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Nothing much." It's like, "Yeah, this didn't cost us anything."
Yep.
So here's your fun fact with that old Nextel push to talk. Your public safety, your new public safety P25 systems, you can say thank you for that technology.
Mm-hmm.
Not for not to Nextel, but not from Nextel. The technology came from Nextel. That's what I'm trying to say. For shit's sakes, words are hard.
I know it. You talk like me. It's getting it from here out here.
I know, and with as minimal amount of swear words sometimes.
Oh, I know it.
Shit. I was trying to keep a fish out of water, man.
Oh, I hear you, brother. Oh. So, let's go completely off topic, but still take to the prepping side. You know how I says get into the quail?
Yeah.
So, I ordered 120 eggs.
Okay. There were no survivors.
No, that lot hasn't come in yet. The place I ordered, there's a couple different varieties. This was obviously the most popular variety. It's the jumbo size ones. Huge lead time, 6-8 week lead time. So I already bought the incubator thing and all the stuff beforehand, and I'm like, hey, the incubator holds 120. I'll order 120 eggs because they sell them in increments of a dozen, of course. So then I'm like, you know what? Now that I think about it, that's a shit ton of eggs, because I'm thinking a 50% hatch rate and then 50% roosters and hens. I kind of mapped it out backwards, going, okay, so I have 25 to 40 hens, 25, 35 hens. That will give me enough eggs for myself and my inner circles, because you figure they all lay an egg. 4 out of 5 days a week they lay an egg. it takes 3 quail eggs to equal a chicken egg. You start doing the math that way. It's like, all right, that'll be about it. So I get the thing set up, and I got the incubator set up with the trays of 120, and I look at that and go like,
And
holy
then,
shit, that's a lot of eggs.
yeah.
So
And remember Shane, when you're like, you thought you had to fertilize them yourself, and I was just like, no, you don't have to do that. That's not how it works. You remember that?
That drink about ended up everywhere.
God damn it. So I'll just pretend that didn't happen. We go back to that place, and I can see where I can get the standard eggs. I can get those a lot quicker. So I'm like, all right, I'll order 30 of the standard eggs. I get them in a couple of weeks. I can do a test run. If it works out, everybody's happy. So I ordered the 30 eggs. They ship them out, and the post office lost them.
What the fuck?
And normally
somebody
That's
else
not
is
the post
fertilizing
office,
your
I know.
eggs.
No. They might have went to Indiana for some strange reason. But no, I ordered them out of this place in Ohio. They shipped out, and they just disappeared.
Well, have you seen the price of eggs? You got egg jacked.
Yeah, probably. They did show up. They showed up like 7 days after they left the hatchery. And they say that, they try to ship them to you as soon as they can, because you got about a week's window. You got 5 days before the fertility, it just doesn't work. So I get the 30 eggs, and it's past the time where I should use them. And I was like, well, I just throw these in the garbage, or call up the place and say, hey, post office screwed me over. Can you do me a favor? I'm like, oh, well, why not? Let's throw them in the incubator. 3 of them hatched. So I got a few quail right now.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
Yep. Holy crap. Yeah, it's been a while since we talked. They're 4 or 5 weeks old now. So they're getting close to maturity. So one tipped over in the brooder, but I still have the 2, and I think they're both hens. Their feathers their adult feathers aren't fully out, but they look like they're both hens, so I should have a couple eggs pretty soon.
Nice.
Sweet.
A couple weeks.
What's the typical maturity?
8 weeks.
And they'll start laying?
Yeah, laying
Holy
eggs
shit.
in around 8 weeks, 7 to 9 weeks. That's why I went with quail, or one of the many reasons I went with quail over chickens, because chickens you gotta wait 6-7 months. Yeah, that's why everybody's waiting for
it. Get 6 more.
Yep, everybody's waiting for egg prices to go down. I'm doing my research. Well, geez, they killed a couple of million eggs or a couple of million chickens in January.
Million.
Yeah, so they ain't gonna be rebuilding that flock until July, August.
Yeah, you'll be lucky to have eggs for eggnog next Christmas.
Yeah, because it isn't like they're gonna start 2 million chickens all at once. They gotta do it in waves. So
I don't know. I had a rooster, and they're pretty productive for a one-man show.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's for quail. For breeding sets, you want one rooster to 4 or 5 hens.
Oh, nice.
Earn that. I guess a little too rough on the hens, because that's all the roosters do. Like men are assholes, but
yeah. That's a good thing. I'm sure no females watch this, because they'd be like, see, that's right. That's all men want.
No. We also want to drink and eat and sleep.
Yeah. So go make us a sandwich.
Yeah, it's actually what I texted my wife like half an hour ago. I want a sandwich. We'll see if
fun.
it's there when I get home.
She's gonna bust out and fry up the top tier bologna.
I'll go for it. I'll. That's one thing that I do love is bologna. So when my wife, you know, she's going to the deli, we got a local deli, and it's really good stuff. But you know, it's like, hey, I'm good with just $1.99 Oscar Mayer bologna. You know, I don't need anything special. I can eat that every time.
You see there. But yeah, in a few more weeks, the 120 eggs will come in, and now I did a test run. I got
So you reordered?
no, I the batch that I originally ordered, they're still coming. It takes
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's
You're not getting them all at one time.
no, I'm getting them all at once. 120 eggs. Boom.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. I thought you got 120 eggs and only ended up with 3.
Oh no, I
Because it
ordered
takes-
30
Oh, okay.
of a different variety that doesn't sell as good as the ones I got now, just as a test run. The variety I got now are a smaller size ones, so their eggs are a little smaller, and the birds themselves are quite a bit smaller. But they have a jumbo variety that's the bird's pretty. The jumbo variety is pretty decent sized bird. It's about the size of a rough grouse. So
Wow. Now you got me curious. So these look just like a normal, or to me, a normal would be like a California quail.
yeah, the species I got is Coturnix quail. Here, let me.
Hey, fellers, I'm going to crash out of here. I
All right.
got some stuff to do before bed and got an early morning. So thanks for having me on, and it's good talking to you, Derek. It's been a while, man. Get back out
I
there
know.
once in a while.
Yeah,
I know.
We used to meet up on Zoom or Discord or something like 2 or 3 times a week, and now it's been like a month or two since I talked to you guys.
Yeah. I think, Shane, we talked about a week ago just for a short period of time, but it's been a while for Derek and for Sam, and it's just hard. I know it's hard. We got lives to live, right?
Yeah. And as you know, this past few months have been extra crazy for me. So,
but hey, yeah, for the 2 people watching or whatever, and whoever watches later on, just a reminder, Shacking Off is going to be taking over trivia for a couple months.
Oh, I was going to bring that up earlier.
Derek, hopefully you can make it onto that.
When is that again?
I think he's going to do it the 3rd Thursday. I think that's what we're planning. Is that right?
I think that's what it was. I can't remember. I got a message from Norm asking if I could help out with that. So, for sure, that'll be on the Shacking Off channel.
Yeah, and we'll promote it. We'll put it out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Third Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was usually before Jason's happy hour. So I don't know if that's still what Jason's doing, but I don't know. It'll be fun. Hopefully, Derek, you get on there and play.
Since it's Friday, I can be there.
Awesome.
Good deal. But anyways, guys, appreciate it. And
have a good one, Greg.
I'll catch y'all next time.
Good seeing you, buddy.
See ya. See you guys.
See you, Greg.
As soon as I figure out how to leave this.
All right.
I'm still here.
Yeah. Awkward goodbye.
Yeah, I may have hit the power button on my computer.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
No, I thought I knew. All right, here we go. I'm gone.
No, you're not. You're going to be hanging around for a little
Oh, there he is.
But yeah, I was hoping to have a better picture here, but Yeah, they're not huge animals by any means, but they're decent size.
Huh.
Yeah, they'll weigh around 14 ounces at 10 weeks. So yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
this is the ones I have on order, the Jumbo Wilds Caternix quail. Yeah, they have. I would. You can buy damn near 500 at crack if you want, man. But
Damn.
going through, yeah, they'll weigh 14 ounces at 10 weeks. Their average egg weighs 14 and a half grams, which I don't know, whatever that is, but you'll get close to 300 eggs a year from them if you keep the light up, because their systems work on light. So in the wintertime, they kind of lay off. So if you have some middle light, they'll go up. And their lifespan's about 2 years. So
then, you hit that point and it's dinner.
yep. Yeah. So
Oh, that's awesome.
it's pretty cool because they don't take up too much. That's the advantage I had, because I was thinking of doing the traditional thing of getting chickens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my friends have a hobby farm, and I help out with their chickens, and they take up a fair amount. Well, better than I do. You have chickens.
Yeah.
They take up a fair amount of space. They're not a whole lot of work. You just make sure they have some food and water, and they're good to go. You don't have to do like anything else with livestock. There's no hooves to trim or
Yeah.
medications and it's vet bills. You just pretty much let them be.
That did need. Oh, speaking of that, I had to do a freaking. So I didn't know this. Chickens can get like what's called a water belly.
Yep.
Did I tell you about this?
No, you said you had to take care of the water belly. I didn't have a clue what you're talking about, so I just nodded my head because you're on a roll. But before that, let me finish my thought, or else I'll never remember. You know how I go.
Yeah, go for it.
So I was looking at the chickens for obvious reason. You get some meat, get some good eggs. But the space to take, a little bit of a pain in the butt. They can be loud. And then for me, living in northern Wisconsin, the idea of having to keep them over the winter time and having a pretty well built coop and going out there and freezing water and shoveling chicken shit out of a coop when it's 40 below, that just doesn't sound like fun to me. So I went with the quail because they take up so much less space. You can pack them into these cages that I can show you pictures of later, where it's like 3 or 4 to a square foot you can have them in. And the cage I have, or what I have, or what I'm going to have, it'll hold I think it has 3 tiers. You can hold 20 to 25 quail on each tier, and the tiers or the cage is like 2 feet by 3 feet. So it's basically a bookshelf. And I can have
damn.
I can have easily 50, 60, up to 75 birds into it.
Oh wow.
And it's so convenient. So it's going to take up a little spot in my garage over the wintertime. In the summertime, I'm going to do like a quail tractor type thing and just have them go across the yard, fertilize the yard, and supplement their feed with grass and the bugs and stuff like that. But in the wintertime and off time, I put them into that little cage and way to go. It's basically like a rabbit hutch.
Huh.
So.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're talking about water belly. Now, what the hell is that all about?
So you have the innards of a chicken. So what'll happen is that cavity space starts filling up with water, basically like because of it's a precursor to like organ failure. You know, basically like a human's congestive heart failure, like a pericardial tamponade, which is where that
Right.
sac around your heart swells up with,
Yep.
and it has to be decompressed. It's
Yeah.
the same thing, but with like more of the thoracic region on a chicken.
Okay.
But the
Kind
shitty
of
part
like
is,
with the gunshot wounds where you know, like a lot of the preppers will carry the like a 14 gauge needle to decompress.
I just
So
pray to God they get it in the right spot.
yeah, or else it'll be over really quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
sorry, didn't mean to do it.
so no, you same deal. You have to take an IV needle and you have to stick it right offside the chicken's ass, and it's like freaking hitting pay
Okay.
dirt. You just stick the needle right next to their butt, and you'll just see it start flowing fluid.
So
And
where does the fluid come from?
It can be fluid buildup, like the organ failure. They have some kind of disease that causes it.
Okay.
Like there's a multitude of causes that can go about it. But yeah,
Okay,
so
I took the naive approach because he said, "Yeah, chicken that had water belly." I thought it literally was like they drink way too much water, and you got
so basically what it ends up meaning is it'll push all of their organs upward into their space and start compressing them, and so you'll notice that they start to pant a lot, and so they struggle to breathe. So you have to drain it off or watch them suffocate to death.
Or dispatch
so,
them.
Yeah, well, I took the humane approach
Yeah.
and got the eyes fluttered at me by the missus, and I drained the chicken, and the chicken started kind of acting better, and so put her back out with the flock. Within 2 weeks, she's back in the garage, bound up again, drained her again. Bitch died 3 days later. I'm like, that pisses me off. I hate putting effort into something and then just having it give up on me.
Yeah. You knew that it would have just been off of her head, and we'd have chicken dinner.
Yeah, I just took my pellet gun and been done with it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun summer for me as far as on the prep side, because I'll be raising quail, and then I'm getting more into the gardening again. So I'm gonna build some raised garden beds and do that. I haven't had a garden for like 2 or 3 years, and I gotta get back into it. Just the way things are now with supply chains, and
you'll be rocking some pickled quail eggs.
Oh yeah, I've looked up. I've been attending a lot of University of YouTube on quail, learning how to raise quail, process quail, and long-term egg storage, because I got a feeling, like I said, I was planning on a big enough flock to cover my needs and those around me, because it's a prepping type thing, is take care of yourself, take care of others that you rely on, and they take care of you as well. So
yeah.
So I want to keep them in eggs, but I got a feeling that, everyone's always interested in eggs, but I got a feeling they might I don't really care for them, or whatever, convenience type thing. So I don't want them to go to waste. So long-term storage. So looking into pickled eggs and all that kind of stuff, and that'd just be good.
So what kind of diet are you going to give them?
Mostly crumbles, small game crumbles, like a pheasant feed. And then like I said, I'll have like the tractor type, like a chicken tractor, for a lot of them out in the yard, so that way they'll get some bugs and insects, and then the grass in the yard. A portion of my yard, I'm going to start turn it basically into a giant food plot. I'm going to turn my yard into a clover patch.
Oh, nice.
So that'd be a little better for them. Uh,
Now it
one of
sounds
the
like you're
dumbest
going to get
things.
bees.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot more of the homesteading type thing, not only for the preparedness side of things, but just a better way for everything. Not to sound like a hippie, but for the environment and
Yeah.
those around me. The biggest crop in the world is yard grass, which nobody eats, and all you do is
Throw it away.
turns into a chore. I'm lazy, and I'm thinking if I tear up my one section of my yard, basically turn it into a food plot of just planting clover, which is a perennial. Once I get planted, it establishes I don't have to plant it every year.
Yeah.
You let that clover looks pretty good when you let it grow. So maybe you have to mow it, 2 or 3 times a year at most, just to crop it down. Self-planting. It's better feed for the quail, and of course the deer and the turkeys, and
I was going to say, you're going to give up the deer stand and go deer hunting in your backyard.
yeah. And it looks, clover looks good. It's not as nice as a well manicured yard of Kentucky bluegrass or something like that, but even clover, when it gets a little tall and you get those white flowers in it, it looks decent. It's
Well, and not only that, it's going to bring in honeybees, which are
Mhm.
then going to get into your garden, and it'll make it more fruitful.
Yep. It's good for the bees. It Clover brings nitrogen into the ground. It'll improve my
True.
soil. So it's me being self-sufficient, environmentally conscious, and lazy all at once. It's a win-win-win.
Oh, yeah.
And clover's cheap too. You get, well, compared to other like food plot seeds and stuff like that, you get
Yeah.
it easy to grow. This just seems like it makes sense.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I think the long-term plans is to pretty much turn my whole yard. And people say long-term. I have like an acre and a half a yard, so it's to do it all at once would be, again, as I pointed out, I'm lazy, so doing it all at once would be
It'd be
by
a
hand
feat.
would be a feat. I got too many trees in the yard to call. If I had like no trees in my yard, I'd call like my cousin who's a farmer saying, "Hey, mind firing up the old Massey Ferguson and spend
Oh,
a
shit.
half hour driving that thing 30 miles an hour down the back roads to come to my house to do like 2 swaps and then
Oh,
drive back."
shit.
Yeah. Tell a farmer to spend a hour and a half of road time to do 15 minutes worth of plowing.
Yeah. No kidding.
I know exactly what I get with that.
No.
Yeah. With a few adjectives.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my big plans for the summer as far as around the house is to get the garden going and get a good clover patch going and see how quail raising goes.
You got any big trips planned for the camper?
Just small ones. A couple up by Lake Superior for a long weekend, and a few around is all I got planned. Nothing big. I'd love to go back down to Huntsville again, but I think that's going to be like an every other year trip for me because it's just too much time.
Yeah. I'd love to make it down there. I don't know. I sit there and go, I don't want to fly.
Yeah.
But
And you driving from Utah, that's shit. You got to take 3 weeks off to be down there for a weekend. It's like crazy.
yeah, that, and it falls right next to my kids' birthdays.
Yeah.
One year, eventually.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When they first started doing the Huntsville thing, because that was like right at the end of COVID, the first Ham Fest was Huntsville, and all the YouTubers, and it's like that sounds like a fun time. I should go down there and then do it. Then you see all the videos and stuff, and all the
Looks like a
YouTube,
great time.
yeah, all the YouTube, not just the content creators, but all the fun people and all the chats and stuff. It's like they're all there, and like, oh man, they took over the campground. I can put faces to all these YouTube icons and screen names
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like I gotta do that. And then I finally did this year, and man, it was worth the trip. It was a blast. I met so many great people, and it's like with Greg and his brother, how I met up with them in Iowa a few years ago. And it'll be the same thing when you and I finally meet face to face. We spend so much time talking to each other in the YouTube chats at live streams and premieres and on Discord and stuff like this, where we know each other so well.
Yeah.
It's so nice, especially like all the people in the chats and stuff where you don't know their personalities from them being on screen on YouTube all the time, but you sit down and you start talking to somebody and BSing and nothing and say, "Oh yeah, I'm so and so." I'm like, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. There's a lot of those moments, so this is a lot of fun. Yeah, you definitely gotta make it if you can.
I'd like to. Of course, I need to quit being lame and actually go to the one if they start making it a thing in Utah. Or what is it, the Ham Zion or whatever? Or
I don't know anything about that one.
yeah, they always have it down there where when I have to go work down south.
Mm.
Where the hell's it at?
Well, and that would be a fun thing.
Oh, HamCon.
Okay. Well, you're not too far away, or no, you're kind of what? How far are you from Quartz Fest? That might be one that you could make it to.
That's gonna be, well, let me see. It's down in Quartzsite.
Yeah.
I gotta see where the hell that's at exactly in Arizona.
Well, that's
because I think it's clear down by Kingman.
Yeah, but I mean, you're out in Utah. I mean, Hamfest is in Ohio. Hamcation's in Florida. That's way too far. Alabama, Alabama and Ohio got to be pretty close to the same. Maybe Ohio's a little closer for you to Dayton. But I mean, as far as like the big three, they're all way far away from you. But
yeah, Quartzsite's a 12-hour drive.
Okay.
Where St. George is half that.
Mm-hmm.
Because well, like I said, I'm there often for work.
Sure. Yeah, because
kudos to those guys too, because I sit there and squawk APRS while I'm down there.
Oh,
and
cool.
I always see the HamCon advertisements come up over APRS. Like that's cool.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Yeah, because for me, Huntsville, that's like, what was it? It was like 16 or 17 hours.
Ooh.
Well, it was 12 hours from my place to Greg's, and then it was another close to 7 hours to get down there, 6.5, 7 hours from his place.
Okay.
So
I say that, and then I like, to me, I'll piss and moan about it. But in the younger years, it's like, shit, I used to wake up and be in Midland, Texas, and then drive home.
mm-hmm.
And that's 18 hours.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, hell, I've driven from here to damn near, well, let's see, drove from here damn near, or just across in Texas, but down by Shreveport, Louisiana. Drove down there, and then drove from Collins, Mississippi back to here.
Wow. That's like my brother-in-law. Him and his family has a trucking outfit. So he's half. I don't know how his schedule works. It floats around where he's either driving or he's wrenching on trucks in the garage or he's being the manager doing all the scheduling and the bookkeeping and stuff. He wears every hat as a small business owner does. But for him, driving is nothing. Big time bird hunter, loves pheasant hunting and stuff. Besides, really into, they don't raise them anymore, but they used to raise German short hairs. He still has a couple, but he will go down to, from northern Wisconsin, he'll go down to the middle of Iowa to go pheasant hunting for the day. He'll get up at 2:30 in the morning, hop in his truck, drive down to the middle of Iowa, spend 4 hours hunting, and then drive back, be home by dinner time.
Damn. See, I'd love to go hit, like, and I don't know if it's as good anymore. I don't know, but I'd love to go hit Kansas or the Dakotas for pheasant.
Yeah.
Like go on a good wing shooting trip.
For many years, me and my uncle and a few of our friends we had an annual trip going out to North Dakota. For about 20 years, we went out there, and usually just a long weekend. One time we made it a whole week, but yeah, you go out there for a long weekend. Take Thursday, Friday, Monday off of work and spend a day on each side traveling and the rest hunting. And it was so great. And the people are so kind out there. At first, we were really hardcore, and early in our careers, we didn't have a lot of vacation to burn. So it'd be like, all right, we'll work half a day on Friday. We'll leave. We'll meet up and we'll hit the road by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. We'll drive out to where we want to hunt. We'll spend the night in the truck, and then we'll get up in the morning. So you drive and you get to the parking lot where you want to hunt the next day at 3:00 in the morning, and you take a half-assed nap, and then you get up and you go out and hunt and stuff. And it's like that was hardcore, but that was like in my early 20s when he did stupid shit like that. But then, towards the end when we get over, okay, at first we're taking a couple days off because we got time to kill, and we're having a travel day. That's it. We're just going to get up, leisurely have a big breakfast, drink some coffee, and take our time getting out there. We're in a hotel, get a good night's sleep, and then we'll get up at the crack of bumfuck dark 30 and go hunting.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you say? You want to put a bow on it? I think it's damn near down to you and I.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, I looked at I'm not like Shane on the clubhouse and kid, basically. Yeah, we got like 2 people watching, so wow. They probably fell asleep an hour ago.
Yeah. just remember, wake up, put your CPAP on.
They're like, oh, this is getting boring, but I like these guys, so I'll give them the views. I'll just open up they probably have like 2 other tabs of YouTube up right now, and they're watching something interesting.
I was gonna say we're sitting there going in the background on mute, but that's okay.
Yep. Appreciate the support. Yeah. So yeah. All right, I will do better at this from now on. I promise. I'll start doing the promotion thing and
You're good.
and get it going. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good hanging out with you.
I apologize. I was late. I got bit by the time zone bullshit again.
Oh,
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna jump on there at 6:30, and I'm like, shit, I got 30 minutes. And then I get on here and see you guys have been on here for 30 minutes. I'm like, son of a bitch, you meant Central.
do I have to go full ham tart and put everything in UTC time?
No, because I won't be smart enough to convert it.
Oh,
The only I don't even have my phone out here. Like how the iPhones have the world clock.
yep,
I have Mountain Time Zone and UTC.
yep. I got UTC in there too. Yep, for sure. All right.
But
Well, but it's been as you know more than many people, the last month and a half or 2 months has been a different world for me. But
yeah,
things are good. Things are where they should be. Pretty much everybody's happy. So,
good.
uh, yep.
Yeah, that and well, as you can tell by my absence, my world's picking up.
Yeah. Yeah. Besides the family stuff, my work's gone insane too. We're getting really busy, which is a good thing. So, uh, yeah, I just looked on this YouTube studio thing, and the last video I posted was the last live stream we did, which was like
2 months ago.
2 months ago. So I haven't, back to the ham radio topic. I haven't done a Parks on the Air or a Subs on the Air activation since like last October. So
I was actually gonna hit you up about that when I talk to you again because I was sitting there. I'm like, shit, Shane hasn't put videos out. He
he
hasn't
hasn't been
done
on
any
my ham
radio
alert.
shit. Of
Yeah.
course, I always get half pissed off because I have to rely on Sam to tell me when you're out because whatever reason, it's like you're benign on mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Ham radio wise, this is where most ham radio podcasts start is hey, Brian's still with us. Thanks, Brian.
Hell yeah.
As we talk about what we've been doing ham radio wise, but yeah, it's work and the personal life has been just too crazy for me to play radio. I've hunted a little bit on Parks on the Air and stuff when somebody pops up on my ham alert and what have you, and repeater talking and when I'm commuting back and forth, but it's just been crazy busy and especially since early January stuff. Not to concern anything, but there's been some stuff family wise uh, with family stuff that's been taking up a lot of time. I don't want to go into that publicly because people will get crazy, but anyway, that's all under control. And like I said, just work has just been crazy, which is a nice problem to have. But I got like any good YouTuber, or well, I shouldn't say I'm a good YouTuber, but like a good YouTuber, I got about 12 videos that are half edited and I just got finished doing. But yeah, I'll get back on it. But definitely going to keep doing these live stream things because this has been a lot of fun. And they're
Oh yeah. Well, it gives me a good reason to actually dig back in and relearn and revisit some things that I'd forgotten and pick up pieces that I that may not have been focused for me before.
right. Yep. But for
And as
me,
far
yeah, and that's kind of been the whole thing where before I've been on this little bit of a hiatus is to recenter myself. A lot of it has been with what's been going on in our country and our world. Uh, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and the hurricane and that kicked the shit out of North Carolina and South Carolina and Tennessee. You know, I made that off the cuff video about how, you know, we need to do better as hams as far as helping people out in emergencies, because there's a lot of gruff of people hopping on the ham frequencies and getting treated like shit by people who have a license. But I always say they're into it for emergency. You know, I'm climbing up on a soapbox here, but I'll get back off. But I made that off cuff video and it got way more views than I normally do, and it got me to where that's kind of how this channel started. Was the more of the preparedness side of things, was still keep it fun and all that kind of stuff. We'll just kind of get back to that. So that's what this whole live stream was all about. And thanks for being a big part of that, Derek.
No, I appreciate the invite.
Mm-hmm.
And to address Brian's too damn cold. I can agree to that to Shane, but I don't have any excuse. Mine's that I'm a fair weathered sissy, and that I run out of daylight, or I just don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm. And Brian's definitely one I gotta meet in person. We chatted a bunch, but you know the backstory about his profile pic with this kind of optimistic gaze like that?
No.
And I'll leave this up. Back like the first time at Hadvention, when the real YouTubers started doing meetups and stuff, they all went to the one microbrew or whatever, and there's always these group pictures, and there was and Brian had an expression similar to that. He's like in the background of like a, you know, is like Tank Radio or KMRD or somebody did a big selfie with a group of people, and Brian was in the background, and his gaze was a little kind of like that. Since that time, every time he goes to Hamfest in Dayton and they meet at the same bar, he does an updated picture like that. So each year he gets a new picture that's the same.
That's great.
I just love it. It's just hilarious. So obviously Brian is one of us. He has a sense of humor and likes to have fun and plays radio. So all around swell guy. All right. Awkward science. And yes,
Yeah.
it's getting to the point where I start yawning. So
I was gonna say it you're 2 minutes out of bedtime.
yeah, yep. Yeah, for the three that are watching this, whenever we meet on Zoom or Skype or Discord or whatever with Derek and Sam and the Miller boys and stuff, usually right around 9, 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after, someone will point out that I'm starting to yawn and the old man has to go to bed. So
I give you shit, but I go to bed at 8 my time, so same time.
yeah. But you're an early riser too.
I don't know that I'm going to be getting up at 4 to hit the gym tomorrow, though. I'm not motivated.
You can do it.
I'm feeling more of a wake up at 6 o'clock, drink coffee, and then go to work.
It's the American way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we stop this Midwest goodbye and actually pull the pin on this bad boy?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thanks to the 3 people that stuck out with us. You're awesome.
Yeah. We'll see you the third Friday on Shacking Off for trivia night.
Yep, third Fridays until Kyle picks up again. We'll be on the Shacking Off channel for Ham Radio Trivia. And then the first Wednesday of the month, we'll be here talking preparedness and radio and
bullshit,
deflating chickens and planting your yard in clover and who knows what else.
Yeah.
We figure this shit out
Oh.
as we go. All right. Thanks,
right.
everyone. Bye.
See you guys.